Is this stupid color?
I thought you said stupid color.
What is up, guys? Happy Miata Monday. Kelly and I are back in the garage and we're going to pick up where we left off. Hopefully we're going to go ahead and tear this engine completely down, get it cleaned up and painted in this video. But before we do all that, I want to just bring you up to date a little bit on what we've done off camera. It's actually been hours of work, but it's been very little to film, so we didn't film any of it. But if you were watching the last video, we had some issues with the woodruff key breaking off and kind of messing up the end of our crank. So after we realized that, we went ahead off camera and tried to remove the actual crank gear. And we found that it was really, really difficult to do. So when we say difficult, we really mean damn near impossible. And to give you an idea, this is what we had to do to remove this gear. So what had happened is the gear was on the snout here, and the woodruff key had broken off inside of this gear, lodging itself between the gear and the actual crank. So we had to drill a series of holes in order to basically split this gear in half and remove it. It was very time consuming. It took well over 2 hours just to remove this gear. So you may ask yourself, well, what the heck? Did you destroy the engine? Well, that's a good question. We hope we didn't destroy the crank. And I'll pull this crank pulley bolt off here just so you get a good look of kind of the status that we're in. All right, so that's where we're at. So the woodruff key sits inside this channel and locks the crank gear into place. So again, in order to remove that crank gear, I had to drill a series of holes through it in order to drill out the woodruff key and actually be able to split that crank pulley in half and pull it off. There was really no other way to do it. There's no secret, there's no trick, there's no tool. We just had to somehow get that gear off, and we chose a drill in order to do it. So you can see here I went a little too far at one point drilling through that gear. I actually don't even know how in the heck this happened, but I'll be honest with you, I don't think that's that big of a deal. What I am concerned about is the groove or channel inside the crank right here. So we're actually going to try a little fix off of Amazon to repair this, and if that doesn't work, we may JB weld it, and if that doesn't work, it's going to go over to CW Pence for them to weld in new metal and chisel out that spot. So as you can see, we have our work cut out for us in this video, and before we go ahead and continue to clean and disassemble the engine, we want to make sure that the engine turns over, because we actually haven't done that yet. We want to make sure that the engine's not frozen. There's no reason to do all this work to the engine if in fact it is and has some internal flaws. So we're going to start off by removing spark plugs and seeing if we can turn this thing over by hand, and hopefully we can. I'm actually confident. I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to do it. So let's start by removing the spark plugs. I want to show you guys real quick. The spark plugs, I should actually have a flashlight in here to show you, but so guys, you can see in here the spark plugs, the holes are filled with all sorts of debris. I don't even know what you want to call it. This has like spider eggs in it. This one has some leaves in it or something, and this one also has some sort of debris. So we're going to have to tip this engine over and remove the plugs that way, and we're going to hit this up all with some brake cleaner first to kind of flush all that stuff out. Alright guys, so we just tipped the engine over, cleaned out the spark plug galleys, and made a big mess. And check it out, we got tons of oil on the ground, but dude, look at this like walnut that fell out of the car. There are the spider eggs. These things are all cleaned out now. It's hard to see, but just believe us, nothing's going to fall in when we remove those spark plugs. So now Kelly's going to grab the spark plug wrench and get these things out of here. Got it? Mm-hmm. Nice. So once it gets to this point, you go ahead and take the socket off. And now we'll do it with your hand. That's right. We can take a look and see what these spark plugs look like. So good news, that was really easy to loosen. They never really should be in there all that tight. Wow, black. So
like your heart.
It's got, well, it's got brake cleaner on it, but this black, it means it could be running rich, could have been running rich, or that the valve cover kind of rings failed and oil got in there. So that's good though. That's not like catastrophic damage or anything like that. So. Spark plug number 1. For all you Office fans out there, man, you know what's up. Well, we need some rags, and that's an old shirt. How's number 2 look?
Same as number 1.
Same as number 1. Yep, good. Consistency, that's what we want to see. It's one of my old-time favorites right here, the Toretto's Cafe. And on the back it says, no one likes the tuna here. But again, man, it's an old shirt. We need some rags. What's 3 look like?
Let's see.
Looks the same. Sweet.
Hands getting tired.
Have a look.
This one looks really kind of crummy.
Well, it looks just like the other ones. Well, spark plug's been there a while. Cool. All right, all 4 are out. And now we can go ahead and try to turn this thing over. Whenever you turn the engine over, you always want to remove the spark plugs because as we're turning it, air's getting compressed. It's got nowhere to go if the plugs are in there, so now that they're out, it should be easier to turn over. So I'm gonna grab a wrench and see if we can turn this thing over. All right, guys, so good news. The engine is turning over relatively easily. Verified pistons are going up and down.
Look.
Kelly just continues to get herself dirty.
I'm not even touching anything.
But yeah, this is moving really easily, and that's great news. So we can go ahead and commence with the breakdown, continue to remove the stuff off of here, get it cleaned up and ready for paint. So check it out, Kelly and I have been doing some work off camera. I took care of the bolts, she took care of the hoses, and she found out that hoses don't just come off.
Very difficult.
Right, like they did in the last video.
Yeah.
But hey, man, we got it done. So yeah, this is kind of as torn down as we want it to be, and now we're going to clean it up. Here are some of the bracketry, starter, power steering, pump, engine mounts, and some other bracketry on there that we got off. So this thing is kind of now where we want it to be. So now it's time to clean it up. All right, guys, we think we are good. Every time we think that we're good, we always find something else to either plug up or remove. So we removed the cam gear from this side. We removed that black plate that was there. I actually have no idea what that black plate does. Plugged up all the holes. And yeah, we should be good. We gotta put something here. But other than that, yeah, man, we should be good to go. We're not gonna focus on the valve cover. That's gonna be a separate video. We're gonna paint this in the next video. So we're not really gonna spray this down too much. We're gonna focus on cleaning the bottom half, everything underneath this valve cover. Get further away. I don't know why you're so close. Do you think that did anything?
Not really, no. I think we need to get in there with a brush or something, or a
All right,
chisel,
let's get some engine cleaner. Oh, O'Reilly's
auto parts.
foamy engine degreaser. Bam! I don't know if this is going to work, but it's very satisfying. Never used this stuff before. You think this car's ever going to run after we do all this?
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking myself, I'm spraying the whole engine with water, and it's not going to be good.
How can it be bad?
I do have to think to myself that you did this to the prelude also, so.
We did, although we didn't use this fantastic engine degreaser here. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah.
Do not use on engines.
Do not use on engines. Allow product to penetrate for 15 minutes. Oh my goodness.
That's your clock time.
15 minutes. All right, well, I'll follow the directions. That's a long time. That stuff didn't do much, did it?
Well, I mean, you know, the ground has got a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah, it does. I feel like it's more from us than it is that stuff. All right, it's ready for paint.
Yeah, there's still just so much. We need
Hey,
to.
actually, this did a pretty darn good job. I thought that oil pan was black. This seal right in here leaked, and as a result, this is covered in grease. So We're going to replace that seal, obviously, but for now it's fine for painting, and then we'll pull it off and we'll replace it. But yeah, all right. So there's a little progress there, but we just got a lot of work to do. So we went through the whole can of engine degreaser, which honestly was okay. We're now using Simple Green. I think it's working a little bit better, but we're going to need some bigger guns here. So I think we're going to go ahead and get the pressure washer out. Or flamethrower. And go from there. See if we can get the rest of this stuff off, because it's just caked on. You know, if you look right here, the oil pan's silver. Right here it's black. I mean, it's just
smeared it around too.
So we'll see if the pressure washer can get this stuff off of here.
That looks much better. You ever see people power washing their engine in their driveway?
Shit, they're cool. All right, man, so what do we use? We used the hose, then we went to the pressure washer. We used degreaser, we used Simple Green, then we finished up with brake cleaner, and this is where she's at right now. Again, miles ahead.
So much cleaner, especially this area.
Yeah, it's tons better than it was, and I think it's going to be good enough for us. This is not going to be a show car. This is going to be just something we're going to enjoy, so it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. But we want to make sure we get as much grease off as we can, because when we paint it, the grease will stick to the paint, and then the grease will give way, and the paint will come right with it. So that's why we went through the lengths that we did. I never knew the oil pan was silver, man. I had no idea. I thought it was black, but they just had so much oil buildup on it. It's pretty neat. Little serial number there. Didn't even know that was there. We're going to wind up taking this oil pan out or off and redoing the gasket. You can see there's all sorts of RTV sealant around this whole thing, and that's not uncommon on an oil pan, but I don't know if it's been leaking or not, and this is the time to kind of do it. So when we take that oil pan off, we'll give it a better clean, and maybe we'll paint it. We'll see. But yeah, man, this is what we're dealing with. We didn't spend a lot of time on the water pump because it's going to get replaced, but I didn't want to remove it and paint underneath. It's stupid. So water pump's going to stay here for now, and we are going to paint it. But again, the new one will come and go right in its place. So anyway, we're going to call it a day for right now. But we're going to pick up tomorrow where we left off. We're going to get this thing painted. What is up, guys? It's the next day. Engine's looking sweet. We're going to paint that a little bit later. But before we paint that, Kelly and I are headed to a car show down in downtown Orlando. We're going to meet some friends there. We're going to have some lunch. We're going to take a prelude. So let's hit it. Alright guys, we are back from the car show, and we have been spending the last hour or so taping, and it is not the greatest job in the world as Kelly has found.
I'm bored already.
Bored already, and also not my best work. I mean, some of the taping around The intake side is not the prettiest, and some of the taping around the exhaust side is not the prettiest. But to be honest with you, no one's really going to see this. And again, it's not a show car piece or anything like that. We're just trying to neaten it up, and we want to put tape where a gasket actually goes, so that's why we kind of try to do it in a neater fashion. So the paint that we're going to be using is this Duplicolor engine paint. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same stuff I used on the Prelude. If it wasn't, it was real close. So I got the stuff on sale. We're going to do 3 coats of this, followed by a clear coat.
Looks better already.
Huh?
Looks better already.
All right, we're back out here. Round 2. Kelly's going to spray this time.
No?
What are we spray painting our name? No.
What? What's the difference between that?
Yeah, just follow the directions, young lady. Atta girl.
What is the difference between that and what I was doing?
Don't go too heavy, right? You see? Can you see how it's getting heavy right there?
No. All right.
Okay, so you don't want to hit that again, right?
All
So
right.
you want to. Another tip, and when you're going, you want to do the whole thing. You don't want to go here and stop and then come here and stop, because then you're missing all that. You see what I'm saying? So you want to like the whole thing. Much better. So 3 base coats are done, and when you're doing that 3rd base coat, you want to make sure that you're getting every nook and cranny, because once we start going clear, there's no going back. So if you have to do a 4th coat before you spray the clear, that's fine. You want to make sure that everything is covered with the color. So it's looking good here. We're happy with it. We've gone over it. We've looked underneath things and around things and everything like that, and we're pretty darn happy with it. So we're going to go ahead with the clear coat now, and once again, we are using the Duplicolor gloss clear coat with ceramic, which I got a really good deal on. If you need to buy this paint, I'll go ahead and put a link down in the description. You can just go right to Amazon and pick it up, or you can find it at your local auto parts store. But we're going to do a light dusting with the clear, and then we'll go to 2 heavier coats. So go ahead. Let's see what you got. Alright guys, 3rd and final coat. Remember, 10 minutes between each coat of paint, and then 10 minutes between each coat of clear. She's getting there, man. She is getting there. It is looking a hell of a lot better than it did before when we started, huh?
Such a difference.
Alright guys, we are happy to report that painting is finished for the block and the head, and we think it turned out awesome. What do you think, honey?
Such a difference. It looks amazing. It looks
Yeah,
so
it really just makes a huge difference when you do this. It's really so much easier to work on an engine that's clean and not one that's covered in years and years of grease. And yeah, it just
just this whole area over here. I mean, it's just,
yeah, it's a lot
so
better,
much
man.
cleaner. And, I mean, remember all that oil and whatever that was?
Yep.
Sludge? It was all just gunked up there, and
Yeah, it really looks pretty incredible. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed every single Monday. We're not going to miss a Monday. I know we missed 2 in a row, but we had a vacation and I got a new job, so you know we had to skip a day. Yeah, adjustments. But seriously, going forward, we're lined up for the next couple videos. So the next video is actually going to be the valve cover. We're going to go ahead and clean that up, and we're going to paint that. We're going to paint that differently than we did the engine, so that's why it's going to be its own separate video. But man, if you're happy with what you're seeing here, just know we got all new hoses coming, as well as a slew of other goodies that are going to go on this engine. This thing is going to look brand spanking new before it goes into that bay. So anyway, guys, that's the video. Hope you liked it, and we'll see you next Monday.
see you next Monday.
Take care, guys.